All right. So we are here with Kiara. We're just going to go ahead and give some time so you can introduce yourself. You can just give us your name, your pronouns, and if you would like to give us your gender identity and your sexual orientation.
Hello, my name is Kiara Akirdu Weaver. I am 24. I am mixed. I am Puerto Rican, Hispanic, and African American. Um, I am, what was the other question?
What is your gender identity?
Oh, I am a trans woman. Yes, I am a trans woman of color. And then as far as sexuality, I don't find anyone attractive. I don't find anyone attractive. So myself, yeah. Um,
Yeah. All right.
and yeah.
So, yeah. All right. So, we'll start this off by just asking just a few questions. So, if you could just give us an example of a time when you felt supported in the community as yourself, as a
I
trans
would
woman.
say I would say last night for sure I was able to compete in a competition for people of color, especially people um, that are like me as far as like trans people. I feel like sometimes our community doesn't fully accept us because yes, we are Black, but at the end of the day, we're different. So sometimes we don't get that opportunity. But last night I was able to completely feel the love in the room. I felt like no one was looking at me as a Black trans woman. They were looking at me as myself last night. And it felt amazing.
Okay. All right. So tell us a little bit more about what you did last night. What was the pageant or whatnot?
So last night, every here in Nebraska, we have every month we have a showcast. It's called Melanin Magic, and it's a show where it's just not it's just people of color. We perform music by people of color for people of color. And yeah, I was one of the lucky contestants to be able to compete for it, and I was able enough to get my spot, so I will be there every month representing people of color here in Omaha.
Okay, all right, that's dope. That's dope. Okay. So as a mixed trans woman, how do you feel that the community should better support Black and brown trans women?
Sometimes, especially whenever it comes to my sisters of a darker complexion, I feel like we sometimes they accept or they allow us to do certain things, but sometimes I feel like some of my sisters have to fight harder. And I feel like, yes, although I am not, some people see me, they just see a girl of color, obviously, but they don't know if I'm Hispanic or if I'm Black. So sometimes people make assumptions, but a lot of my other people of color, there is no assumptions to be made. So therefore, when I don't, our community here is just so grounded in a certain way
Hmm.
to have to fight to be able to have your spot. But for us of color, it's extremely hard because it feels like February, we have our month. February, there's shows, there's everything of people of color. But the moment February ends, it feels like we disappear. And I feel like we need to be year round. If you can appreciate us during our month, you can appreciate us all the way around.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So, could you describe a moment when you felt like you couldn't really be your authentic self?
When I first started a bingo gig that I'm working with now, I had to let the bar know a few of my boundaries because when I first started, it was very much like, hey, you have to use this restroom and not that one. And
Mm,
then it is in a predominantly white area, and this certain gig is predominantly white. So I feel like sometimes when I bring my blackness in, it's too much for them. So sometimes I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I have to go down,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So how do you feel that you're protected when you're being your authentic self in spaces like that?
I stand on my boundaries. If it's one thing that you taught me for sure, it's my boundaries. Is I have to respect them, because if I don't respect my boundaries, no one else is going to respect me. Um, so when it comes to situations like that, I just more so let it be known, if you cannot allow, if you are not allow, if you are not going to sit there and let me be in these spaces, I guess. I'm going to force my way into these spaces, and I'm going to be who I am at the end of the day. I'm going to use the women's restroom. I'm going to be in places where it's not predominantly people of color. And I feel like, especially here in Nebraska, we don't have that many spaces. So for
Mm-hmm.
us to be able to branch out and be like, no, we're here, um, is very important to me, and I feel like I haven't got to do that most recently.
Mm-hmm. So you say that you put yourself in uncomfortable situations so that we could be more visible. Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't say I put myself in those situations, but when I am in those situations, I do very much like I don't know, it gets scary sometimes, because especially as a performer, sometimes it's like you go, you do the gig, and then yeah, and then a lot of people especially see you as like a fun thing to look at sometimes, which great, love it, give us your money, that type of stuff, especially um as a performer. But I don't know, as sometimes it feels like they're not enjoying the art and they're making fun of it. So when it
Mm,
comes to gigs, I have to look at myself and say, it's not worth it. You're demeaning yourself by accepting said gigs and allowing them to treat you this way. So stop doing that.
mm, mm. Okay, okay. So do you feel that it's important as a trans person that you set the tone, or do you want to like elaborate on that? Because I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I love where you're going with this. So, how do you set those boundaries so that you're making sure that you're safe in those type of environments, but also still standing your grounds to make sure that you're visible in these spaces?
I feel like respect goes both ways. And if you want me to respect you and your environment, whether that's a bar, a home, wherever it is, you have to respect me, who I am, and necessarily what I am. So, ooh, mm, mm, mm. It gets very hard sometimes. Hmm. When it comes to those type of spaces, used to tend to cut myself off to where I would sit back and I would just allow it to happen. And now it's very much like, okay, you're booking me to perform. You know who I am. You've said that you love me. There should be no reason that when I say I'm going to use this restroom, that there should be any question. When I say I'm going to be here, there should be any question. And I feel like now it's like a respect thing, and it's morals. I guess I'm just like, Diva, fine. I may have gotten dressed and got here, but I will pack my stuff up and gladly leave if you are going to
Mhm,
treat me not like a human and like something that does not belong here. Yes, I'm here for entertainment, but I'm not here for you to make a joke or make fun of me. And I feel
mhm,
like those gigs get crossed sometimes, and I feel like a lot of times it is predominantly white people who host stuff like that, so they tend to book us, especially like people of color, and it feels like sometimes like I can't take like my updos with my locks or like certain patterns and stuff, because they don't
mhm,
not they don't appreciate it, but they don't understand it enough to appreciate it, I guess. I don't know. I feel like If I'm
They don't
not
know that line
fully
between appreciation and appropriation.
very much that. I feel like I should be able to step into a space with these said accessory, with these said pieces from my culture, and for you to be able to, yes, call them beautiful. Yes, say that my hair looks nice. Yes, say that, but don't touch it. But
Mm-hmm.
don't, how long did it take you to do that or this and that? And like, just there's certain comments that certain people make, and when they try to throw, I wouldn't say like throw slight digs, but they do a lot.
Yeah.
Um, for example, a lot of the times when I do work in predominantly white areas, I do get told a lot that, oh, you're black? I didn't know. I thought you were Hispanic. That's it. I thought you were a Hispanic girl. And a lot of the times it's like you have to sit back and you gotta be like, damn, I do understand that I am of a lighter complexion. So I it's not as noticeable, but at the same time, it is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something that I'm battling with. It's like, how do I push this part of myself out even more for people to see whenever I already feel like I am, and that's who I am?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. I really appreciate you sharing that. So I guess my follow-up question would be, how do you feel like allies can be more supportive to you in those spaces? Like, what can they do to be more supportive when you're in these spaces and they're trying to, make you uncomfortable or make you feel like your boundaries are being pushed? How can allies be more supportive in those environments?
Very much check on your friends. It's simple. It's good. Okay. Thumbs up. Something. The especially in like the environments that we work in, like the bar scenes, like the brunches and stuff like that. A lot of people tend to like, joke and like throw little slide jokes. But when it comes to a difference of culture, it's some of them don't know that's a line that you do not cross. And as an ally, I feel like you should know there are certain lines that you do not cross, and that if someone does cross, you, as someone who is not a person of color, should be like, whoa, you do not say that. Whether it's
Mm-hmm.
certain words, whether it's phrases, whether it's what you're calling us, there is a lot of things that can be turned, you're spicy, you're ghetto, you're too loud, and like those things can be, oh my god, you're so loud, you're so everything, I love it. It could be to you a nice thing, but to me it's like, okay, I'm loud,
Yeah.
I'm this, I'm the girl in the back, just when really
Yeah.
that's not me. I'm not that's, I don't know, that's none of the case. So I feel like as an ally, know what lines to not cross, and not only that, educate yourself on us and as trans people and also people of color, because most recently with everything that's going on, I feel like not a lot of people have been like researching and like actually being stuff, especially in the news now, because a lot of people take the same article and they'll change the topic and it'll be something else. And it's always with our people. It's always,
Mm-hmm.
they always choose to take something of either a black woman or a black man and change the title six, seven different times. And like for example, um a man and a woman got into an altercation. The man happens to be a person of color and the woman is a white woman. It one title will say, a black man got into an altercation with a white woman. The next person isn't the next article isn't going to say that. They push it further. Black man forces himself on white woman, or black man is very aggressive towards white woman, and they
Yeah.
tend to switch those things up so much in the media to the point where people start to believe those, because
Mm-hmm.
obviously it's the day of the internet. Everybody's going to believe stuff, which they shouldn't. They
Yeah.
should be able to look stuff up and say, oh, this is what happened, this is how I'm supposed to move, and this is what I need to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So like with your age group, since you're like in the time of like social media and like everybody's in the phones, like how do you combat that? Because seeing that everybody gets their news and their information from social media, and it's kind of hard to decipher the truth from delusion, like how do you feel that you go out into society to kind of help with that? Like, how do you feel like it's the best way to be able to combat the misinformation that's being put out, especially about the trans community right now?
Mm. I would say know your sources. If it's a blog like e-news that is just posting stuff, 9 out of 10, it's wrong and it's not true. If you feel like something is wrong or something is going on in your community, look it up, search on the news. There is multiple ways to actually find the truth. People just like to scroll on their media, scroll, and as they're scrolling, they see it pop up. And all they read is that headline. They don't read the whole article. They read the headline and scroll. And that's what it is nowadays. And I feel like people need to pay more of attention, especially in the day of media and AI, where it makes things to kind of confuse you, I believe, because there is a lot of false information that is getting put out there, especially like right now, like with the ICE agents and everything. There's so much going on. Like there's information that is helpful that we do need to share, but at the same time, there are 17 articles out. All of them are the same article, but they all have different titles. Everyone is
Mm-hmm.
going to read the article and going to get a different idea of what that is. They
Mm-hmm.
need to be able to actually sit back, do their research, see what actually happened, and be able to actually acknowledge it instead of just seeing the headline and being like, okay, that's what happened.
Yeah,
Because
it's
that's
like we're
what's
playing that game of telephone in real life. Remember when you play that kid and like you tell the secret and then see if it's the same when it get back to you, and it's like no, it's never the same, because the narrative and the story is going to change depending on who's telling it. Yeah, I feel that. So my next question would be, what is something that you would like cis people to know about how we as trans people navigate this world, especially in the political climate we're in right now?
it's hard to live um as it is. It's hard to just be a person living, so throwing other things on top of that, like being trans, being a person of color, and just I'm just like you. I'm just trying to go out, get my groceries, just mind my business and do my things. And I should be able to do that without someone saying things or demeaning me. Or I should be able to be like, you know what, I'm gonna go use the restroom really quickly. I'll be right back. And the young man sitting down eating his food should not be able to get up and be like, you don't go in there. You
Yeah.
mind business. It's not like a bad thing to just be like, okay, let it be. Let people
Right.
live their lives.
Yeah.
Is it really bothering you that much? Like, let people enjoy life. It's already bad in this economy how it is, and we're all somewhat suffering in one way or another. Let us live. Like,
Yeah.
just let us enjoy life. So what? Some of us like to dress up a little extra to go to the work. It makes life enjoyable, and I suggest others sit back and find that thing that gives them joy and bring it into their everyday life, because in the environment that we are in right now, it is very scary, and I don't know what the future holds, but we have to make sure that we're there for each other.
Yeah. So what is something that brings you joy, and how do you find your sense of community?
I would say what brings me well, this brings me joy, my little diva. She's amazing. But I would say for sure what brings me joy is just the feeling that you get when you're building care community. Like here in Omaha, I'm lucky enough where I get to host sewing classes, where I get to host choreo nights and stuff like that. And just that feeling that you get from seeing other people succeed means your time is coming. It will be there soon. Cheer them on, and whenever it's your time, they will do the same for you. Another person's success is not your downfall. We can all succeed in this life.
Yes, yes. Come on with it. Okay. And so, how are you building community in your area?
I would say I'm starting small, definitely. I have a lot of walls put up where I'm scared to let people in from past experiences. So it did take me a while to open up to people to let alone let them in, but to also open myself up to help them as well. And most recently, it's been very difficult to do so. Um, I, when you're in a community and you help as much as you can and you do as much as you can, sometimes whenever you're not, I did this, I hosted this, or I did that, it goes unseen. And some people feel like, oh, that girl ain't doing nothing, or that girl just sitting back. But in reality, I don't need everyone to know that I help old girl sew her outfit. I don't need everyone to know that
Mhm.
I help her in her hair. I don't need no one to know that. I did it because she asked for the help and I was there to offer it. No one else needs to know that. And I
Yeah.
feel like nowadays it's all about people. I did that. You know, I did that. Listen, Diva, I'm here to help. You help me when you can, so I'm gonna help you when I can.
Mm.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. So, if you could give advice to the community of how they can better support trans women and black trans women as a whole, what advice would you give?
Don't be a bystander. If you see something happening, say something. There's so many times where there's walking down the street, there's slurs, doing stuff, there's slurs. If you see that there is a woman in distress, no matter if that woman was identical at birth or born like that at birth, help. Oh, like I feel like most recently, it feels like it's our community against the world.
Yeah.
And we did not put that wall up. Actually, we did put that wall up. We put that wall up to protect us because they keep
Yeah.
hurting us. We
Yeah.
can't keep allowing them to come into our spaces and disrespecting us because
Yeah.
y'all wouldn't allow us in y'all's. So now we create our own. Don't come into our spaces and being disrespectful. Don't, this is for my girls, most importantly, my lovely divas. Please, please, if you do plan on going into queer spaces or spaces where it's predominantly people of color, please, please watch your boyfriend. Watch your boyfriend because there's been so many times where we're just minding our business and a girl brings her boyfriend into the queer club and all everything breaks loose because
The thing
he
is
feels some
clean.
way.
The thing is a buffet worthy.
It just become it just it's like a waterfall. Once it's like a how do you put it? It's like a what are those things called? It's like a fire hydrant. The moment that that man
Mm. It's a trickle effect, and then it just explodes out of proportion.
well, he directs that anger anywhere that he can. And I'm not just saying all men are like this, but predominantly straight white men tend to act like this in gay and people of color spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And as allies. Y'all pushed us out of those spaces. So we had to create these spaces. Don't come in here being rude and disrupting our peace because y'all didn't want to give us some.
I get that. I get that. And so I do think that people do need to be mindful, especially when they're coming into queer spaces, that they should learn how to be very humbled and learn what it's like to kind of go from being actors to allies to accomplice. I think that growth needs to start, happening. So I really enjoyed this conversation. Is there anything else you would like to add before we start wrapping this up?
Go out in your community. You may you there I know watching this there's that one person who feels like they're alone, they don't have someone, and I was that someone. I was lucky enough to find someone that believed in me, and they allowed me the comfort to grow to who I am. You will find that person and you will find that community. Keep looking. We belong and we are staying. So, yes.